And we should be live. What's up, YouTube? That felt so cringe to say.
It was pretty cringe to hear, too.
Hey, just like, just gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Why you decided to click live while I was mid-mouthful of food, I'm not sure.
I don't know. You just said go live. I didn't even take into consideration.
I'm eating a sandwich and my last bite of it was right there.
Hey, you're mucking. That's the best. You gotta eat, brother. Yo,
For
what's
sure.
up? What's up, Nick? What's up? Not much. We're chilling. About to rip a nice little underdog mock because the puppy is officially back. And
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Oh yeah. You
Okay.
don't want to? Would you rather do sleeper or?
I thought we were doing mocks with them. Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah. Well, we can get them in if they have underdog.
True.
There you go. But
Oh
yeah.
God, Brady's starting it off with a bang. I just saw the question.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get pretty feisty, but we can hold it down. But yeah, no, we're chilling. We're chilling. What's up, golfer? Nice seeing you in the chat. Every time I see that emoji, I just want to go like that,
Hang loose.
Yeah. What's up, Justin? Nice seeing you in the chat as always. What's your opinion of Zeke versus Aaron Jones? Corey will go with Aaron Jones. I will go with Ezekiel Elliott.
And my rationale would be because I like players who are good, and Danny doesn't.
And my rationale would be that Zeke is about to score 15-plus touchdowns and have literally 340 touches. So I'm happy. But anyways, if you want more
the reason I would, if Jamal Williams was still there, I think the big uptick for Aaron Jones is the fact that he's now the sole pass catching back on that team. And he was already a guy that I think at one point in the season last year, 8 weeks into the season, he was leading the NFL in red zone targets. The definition of good volume is Aaron Jones. He gets all the valuable volume, the goal line work, the receiving volume, the high value receiving volume. So
I'm glad you mentioned
with Jamal Williams gone. I really like Aaron Jones this year.
The last thing I'll say quickly, I'm glad you mentioned receiving volume and goal line work because quite literally in the first 5 games of the year, Ezekiel Elliott had 14 inside the 5 touches, and he also out-targeted Aaron Jones. But anyways, if you want more elaboration on that, there's many videos on the channel. Otherwise, me and Corey might get bickering like we do off camera.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Nick, mock drafts. You already know Brady. You always do this when I can't mock with you, Jared. You got to be flexible,
Yeah. Do you guys want to run a mock? I'm kind of down to run some sleeper mocks. I've been doing underdog mocks for the past 10 days in a row.
I'm just so excited with the puppy out. I was like, oh,
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
My bank account can't handle me depositing any more money, to be honest, though. So if you want me to deposit more money, you can super chat me.
Yeah, there you go. Hey,
that's the only way I'm gonna be able to deposit more.
Super chat the channel. We'll rip those underdogs for the content. What kind of mock, dude? Any mock, we're chilling. We're with whatever the people want. What's up, boys? Super excited for the season, man. Are you guys really buying all of the Saquon talk? Yeah, okay. We talked about this too on the strength of schedule, and literally it makes no sense because the whole point of drafting, especially at the top, is getting the guys that can win you your leagues. I'm not taking Saquon Barkley at the end of the first round. He should be a mid-first at minimum, in my opinion. Now, when you're thinking about it, you're debating it. Would I rather have Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry? I personally would rather have Saquon Barkley because I think the upside is greater if both those players hit. Would I rather Saquon Barkley or Jonathan Taylor? Well, I think Jonathan Taylor's upside is there. Let's be honest here. He's got question marks in terms of his overall workload. Saquon Barkley, if he is on the field, is a legitimate 25 opportunity per game back. So
right.
I just don't understand the fugaz about people wanting to fade Saquon Barkley. I understand, okay, maybe first few weeks of the season, we don't see Saquon Barkley at 100. Maybe he's at 75%. 75% Saquon Barkley is still a top 10 back, top 12 back. We saw it 2 years ago. He was legitimately the RB10 in 12 games, despite missing those games with the knee injury. So overall, I mean, he's a freak of nature. I trust this guy to return value on anywhere he's going in the first round currently. I know
you're talking in circles right now. For Saquon Barkley, Saquon is very easily a case of I need to see how this offseason plays out because if this guy doesn't play a single snap in the preseason, if we're hearing, and we always talk about positive reports now, like this time of year, right? Because everybody looks great. Everybody's in the best shape of their life. Everybody's going to do this, that, and the other this year. If we hear more negative reports about Saquon Barkley, because all it's been so far is negative reports, we haven't really heard anything too optimistic about his condition. If all we hear is negative reports all preseason, he doesn't play a snap in the preseason, he'll be off my board. That's me legitimately saying that. As much as I want to win my league or whatever, it's also you don't want to be taking unnecessary risk at the same time. So, and we're also going to have Edwin Porras on the channel. I believe we're recording it 2 days from now. So Saquon Barkley will be the number one question I have for him.
Yeah. Absolutely. And again, if we hear negative reports and this guy's not even 75%, I said like best case scenario, 75% those first 3 weeks, absolutely worth that pick in my opinion. If he's not, and there's a question mark surrounding his overall well-being in the initial part of the season, then you can start saying, okay, like what's up here. But that's definitely going to be the number one question for Edwin Porras. I know he's been more of the optimist in terms of Saquon Barkley. Like I've seen his tweets on Twitter and everything. He said, if you guys are fading Saquon Barkley, you may as well just be fading Dalvin Cook, is basically what I've seen him tweet before. But that's going to be the question. I'm excited to hear the answer, and I'm sure you guys are as well.
Yeah.
But anyways, we can get into a few more. I'm going to have to say Jones. Yeah, that's fair. Any spots on the mock could
well, whatever you guys want to do. If you guys want to do a redraft mock, a dynasty startup mock, a tight end premium super flex like Mr. Smith suggests here in the chat, if you guys want to do a rookie mock draft, we haven't done one of those in a while. It doesn't really matter to us. We'll do whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah. Can I put up I can put a poll here.
Okay. AJ says Dynasty, Kamara or Cook. I will take Alvin Kamara very comfortably there. As much as I think Dalvin Cook probably is better this year, I would say, between the two guys. I think Cook's long-term health concerns, which we don't have with Kamara. On top of that, we have Kamara having significantly less touch volume under his tires, basically, compared to Dalvin Cook. So I'll take Alvin Kamara pretty comfortably there. I also just think he's the better player.
That's fair. Yeah. By the way, I put a poll up for you guys. Dynasty or redraft. We'll give it a couple minutes, see what happens here. And depending on that, then we can figure out scoring settings and roster settings. So go vote on that poll. Hey, boys, I will never draft Aaron Jones. He burned me.
That's bad process, Leonardo. Never do it. I know it sucks. I know it sucks when you get burned by somebody, but you can't fade a player strictly for the fact that they burned you in the past. I'm pretty sure Ron did a video entirely on that topic, basically talking about basically there was zero correlation in terms of like players who lost ADP in redraft versus like the next year. And it's actually going to be the topic of tomorrow's video. Spoiler alert, is bounce back candidates. I'm basically doing an entire fantasy roster. So like a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex and a tight end of bounce back candidates. So make sure you guys tune into that. That'll just be me on my solo dolo doing that.
There you go. Yeah, I'd stay tuned for Wednesday when we're talking about some sophomore backs. Just wanted to point that out. But sleeper, that's fine. Okay, the majority of people are saying sleeper mock. That makes sense. And a 1 point tight end premium startup draft super flex. What round is appropriate to get Waller and Kelsey? I would say in that so 1 point tight end premium, I'm assuming is a full PPR, and then the tight ends get an extra point. If that's the case, they're probably early 3rd round picks. I don't know. How would you elaborate on that?
3rd round
about
pick.
That? Yeah,
probably about
there. 1 quarterback dynasty on sleeper. Yeah, whatever the poll says. Currently it's 75-25 for redraft. So if you guys want dynasty, go vote up. Agreed on sleeper. Yep. 2 quarterback or super flex on sleeper. Yeah. Well, again, we'll ask the roster questions, everything once this fills up. Henry dropped to 204, my live startup, and still on the board. Damn. Yeah. Who else is available there?
I wouldn't say 204 is absurd for Derrick Henry in a startup draft. I think that's about the range he usually goes.
Yep. I agree there. I need to see these 80-yard bombs to Elijah Moore on video. Yes. Amen to that. What's the worst case scenario for Jeffrey from Minnesota? Who's Jeffrey? Jefferson. Okay, I was confused. Worst case scenario is, honestly, I don't even know what a worst case scenario for me. That's a low volume offense. He only gets 110 targets, returns maybe low end wide receiver 1, high end wide receiver 2 value. Like, I genuinely don't see a scenario where Jefferson is not at minimum a top 14 wide receiver this year.
Obviously, worst case scenario is he gets injured, but if he's healthy,
if he plays the whole season.
Worst case scenario, honestly, you're getting a guy like Allen Robinson last year. Is probably what you're looking at. Probably not the same target volume as Allen Robinson, but I think he's a significantly better player than Allen Robinson. And Kirk Cousins is a far more efficient quarterback than that too. I think the worst case scenario for him is he just kind of disappoints relative to ADP, because I think we're all expecting him to have this blow up season. And there's a very good chance he could just have like a low end wide receiver one season, which would still be fine, but it would definitely be a disappointment.
For sure. And Big Papa asks Eckler or Sanders. Eckler, it's not close for me.
Yeah, pretty easily Austin Eckler. I know Sanders has 4 years probably of age on him, but Sanders' ceiling is not really remotely close to Austin Eckler's, in my opinion, unless, in 2 years from now, Miles Sanders on a different team with a big contract. But I think you need to perform well with your current team to get a big contract. So it's going to be hard for me to envision a scenario where Sanders can return top 5 running back value at any point in his career, and unless something crazy happens. And Austin Eckler, I think, should return top 5 value the next 2 years.
Yep, absolutely. I just finished my workout. Let's do a redraft. Yeah, that's what's winning right now. I'll probably put it up for another minute, and then I could ask about the scoring settings. 10-team redraft, one quarterback.
We don't do a lot of 10-team drafts.
We
I know
don't,
we want to include as many people as we want in here, but we don't do a lot of 10-team drafts. That is a good it's a good point.
Yeah, we can ask that as well. Kamara versus Saquon, I believe. But is this in redraft or in Dynasty? That would be my main question here. In Dynasty?
In redraft, I'll take Kamara slightly because we're splitting hairs with elite running backs here, and I'll take the less risky side of Alvin Kamara. Even with Taysom Hill potentially starting, like you guys have heard our thoughts on Alvin Kamara with Taysom Hill a million times. If you haven't heard our thoughts, maybe you're just coming back to fantasy football. Trust me, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing running back rankings and stuff, and you guys will hear the full spiel on Alvin Kamara again.
Absolutely. But yeah, and then it's Saquon and Dynasty for me.
Yeah, I'll take Saquon and Dynasty as well.
I'm down for 3 wide receivers. That could work. Are any young players on expiring always a good buy? It seems like their value always goes up once they are free agents.
Okay, so I think the best example of this is like Mike Williams, for example, because he's about to be an expiring contract. Corey Davis last year probably would have been a good example of this as well. I would say the contract year thing, it's definitely happened recently. It's kind of a recency bias thing. So I would say most people are probably going to be willing to buy into guys like Mike Williams, who are the last year of the contract breakouts, because we saw it with Will Fuller last year. We saw it with Corey Davis last year. Saw it with Devontae Parker 2 years ago. So I would say they're a decent buy, especially with a guy like Chris Godwin. If you can buy Chris Godwin right now, I think that's a great buy, because he undoubtedly will be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL if he goes and he hits unrestricted free agency next year, and his value should go up just on money alone, pretty much.
Yep, definitely. Is Laviska Shenault worth a first-round pick in Dynasty? I would need to know the confines of the pick, the scenario of the pick, because in my opinion, like if you're talking 110 to 112, yeah, I would ship that off for him. If you're talking about anything like 106, 107 and higher, I'd probably prefer the pick.
At first, I thought he meant like a startup pick. I'm like, absolutely not. But if you're on the board at 112 and the main four, I would rather have. This might be a hot take. I think I'd rather have Laviska Shenault than Jalen Waddle right now. That might be a hot take, but I just personally I don't really like the situation for Jalen Waddle. I think it's kind of crowded right now. So if 112 is on the board and Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase are all gone, the top 3 running backs are all gone, the top 5 quarterbacks are all gone, you're staring down the barrel of Jalen Waddle, Terrace Marshall type players. I think I would consider him there. He is definitely getting a lot of buzz, but overall, I think I would take the first rounder in most scenarios.
Yeah, I agree there. Sorry, I'm just making the next poll.
No worries. Could you guys put the sleeper link in the chat? Are you making the mock right now?
No, I'm setting it I'm setting up the settings and stuff, but I can.
Okay, yeah. So Danny's setting up the mock. I'll continue to rip through some questions here.
Yeah.
Could you guys put the split? Yeah, okay. You Spicy or Leo, if you get the mock, one of you guys has to take Tebow for me. Yeah, that's facts. Somebody's got to be taking Tebow for Jared here. First
Facts.
live, been able to be on, loving it, watching from Australia. Damn. Okay,
there you go.
Nice international. We got a lot of a couple German followers. Australia. That's the first Australian I've heard for sure. So that's pretty cool. I think the Giants are going to have a big year. Huge believer in Barkley. I don't think the Giants are going to have a big year necessarily. I think they're like Daniel Jones kind of sucks for the record, but either way, I think their defense should be good enough to carry them to like a 7, 8, and maybe 9 win team. And if Saquon's on the field and healthy, he's definitely going to help propel that offense forward. The addition of Kenny Golladay, they should be like a middle of the pack offense, I think. And then their defense has a chance, honestly, to be pretty good. For sure. So I currently have the poll up. There's about 12 votes. Currently, we got 1 quarterback, no tight end premium leading the vote. So if you guys want to vote on that, make sure you fill that out, and I can set up the settings accordingly. on the Jay Heeb's team. So this is Jay Heeb's asking the question here from last night's decisions. Just want to let you know, I got Keenan Allen for Curtis Samuel at 2023 first and a 2024 second and third. Okay, yeah. I can't remember if you were a win now team or if you were a rebuilding team. I'm assuming you're a win now team if you're making this kind of move. I don't hate it. I think Keenan Allen for the next 2 years, next 3 years potentially, should be a guy that's locked and loaded as a top 12 wide receiver, and he's currently in my top 6 this year. So I don't hate the trade.
I agree there. What do you think of JT's stock? He's a late first rounder in redraft, obviously in Dynasty.
I still have him in my top 6. So he honestly
he's my 7.
He doesn't really change all that much for me. I know like losing your starting quarterback is not going to affect you positively, but if anything, it's probably going to increase his volume on the ground. They're going to rely on the run more, and that's kind of a narrative-y like response to the like JT's question. But I still think this is the engine of the offense, and it's not like Carson Wentz was some huge difference maker to the point that he hurts him that. Like it's not like he lost Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert type of quarterback. Like he lost a quarterback that was probably already a bottom 3rd quarterback in the NFL. Yep,
absolutely. By the way, the poll you got a tie right now, so get voting on that. But for redraft, we just covered that. Gibson, Tim Patrick, Marvin Jones for a 2022
first. Is that Mac or Marvin?
Is that Mac or Marvin? Make sure you leave that. Either way, it's a 1 quarterback league.
Yeah, it is a 1 quarterback league.
In that scenario, that is close. What are your thoughts on that?
If it's Marvin, I think I'm taking the pick side. If it's Mac, honestly, I don't know if it even affects it that much. I think I'd
want to know where those picks are slotted to be.
Honestly, yeah, I don't think it matters. I think if you're going for it, if you're trying to win the championship, I do like the Gibson side because you're getting a real difference-making running back. But if you're trying to rebuild, selling Gibson for 2 firsts and Elijah Moore, I think is perfectly fine. And if that is Mac Jones, I guess you're selling a young quarterback, which kind of sucks. But if it's Marvin Jones, I don't pay it too much attention.
Yep, I agree. Am I too in on Wilson if it were to? No, not even close. You do that in a heartbeat. That is like a classic underpay for Zach Wilson.
Yeah, Dalton, Garoppolo, and Mac Jones all for Zach Wilson. Like maybe some of those guys start some games this year, but like Mac Jones is really the only one that's valuable long term. Like Dalton and Garoppolo at best are going to be journeyman quarterbacks for the rest of their career. Like I don't think there's any chance that some team signs them to like a 4-year deal to be their starter or even a 2-year deal. I think they're like bridge quarterbacks at best. So the fact that you're getting Zach Wilson, who in my opinion is just far more talented than Mac Jones and has much higher fantasy upside because of his rushing ability and because of the out of structure plays that he did at BYU and because of how the team is building around him, I'd just much rather have Zach Wilson.
Yep, I agree there. Tebow's looking jacked. Yeah, I know. I was giving him some fitness tips. You know, he seems like he's taking them to heart. So glad to see him doing well. In that same league, I am 5 players over the limit, so I need to get rid of do that. That's easy. I'm no Giants fan, but I think this would be Jones' biggest year by far. I mean, it has to be.
I mean, the bar isn't very high. That's my thing with Daniel Jones. Like the bar is, he's been a bottom 5 quarterback in the NFL for the last 2 years. Like I know everyone wants to nitpick some stats about him. Like he's a great deep passer. It's like, but he sucks everything else. So, I mean, he's not actually that good of a quarterback in my opinion. So even if this offense like infrastructure is good, which I don't think it is because I still think their offensive line isn't very good. Even if the weapons are good, I still think this is an offense that underperforms. Similar to what we saw from the Broncos last year. The Broncos had good weapons, and yes, some of them got injured, but when your quarterback isn't good, when your offensive line can't really hold up, it's pretty hard to have an elite offense. You kind of need all of those things to come together, and the offensive line can't be more than above average, in my opinion, and Daniel Jones to me is like a bottom 10 quarterback in the NFL, unless he shows some crazy jump that I never saw coming.
Yeah, no, I agree there. And when you're talking about it, it's so funny thinking back. Dak Prescott played 4.5 games and had more touchdowns last year than Daniel Jones. Like that's wild. But other quarterbacks being Fields and Lance.
So you're just tripling down on this quarterback class. You love to see it.
You're mucking there. Need more likes. Yeah, if you guys are liking the stream, make sure, or if you're watching the stream, sorry, make sure you're liking it up. I want to see more than how many likes we got on here right now. We currently have 12 likes and 30 concurrent viewers right now.
Yeah, come on, guys. All right. So, 20. Okay, let's we'll start this up after we get through these last couple questions. Yep. Go Bill says, thanks for the advice. No problem. Bryson says, 10-team Dynasty Superflex, full PPR tight end premium. Fields, Higgins, 2022 first, or Watson and Lamb. I would take Watson and Lamb.
Yeah, I mean, it's close. It just kind of depends on your risk factor, like what you feel about Watson, in my opinion. Like, if you're more of a risk averse guy, I think Higgins in a first and Fields is a very fine package to move off of Watson and Lamb. That's also the fact that the reason why I go with Watson and Lamb is because I think when Watson's on the field, he's a top 5 quarterback in fantasy. And then I also think Lamb's literally going to enter top 8 each season type of return on value, and is a 22-year-old player. So I will slightly agree with you and lean with the Watson and Lamb side, but that is a really good.
It's a pretty fair deal all around. I personally just believe more in the assets and the players that you're getting on the Watson Lamb side, because as much as I like Higgins, he's never really going to be a top 10 dynasty wide receiver because Pace is there. And as much as I like Fields, I have way more question marks about his ability than I do about Watson's.
Yep, absolutely agree there. So where do you guys rank the Green Bay Big Three in a Dynasty 2 quarterback startup? So I personally would, like, Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams are back-to-back for me, like 1 and 2, whatever preference. They're probably 4th-round picks in terms of startups, maybe 3rd round.
Earlier than that in startups.
But I'm saying where they usually go. Now, I think they're willing to take.
I got Adams, in the 4th round of our startup? But that was with the Aaron Rodgers uncertainty. Yeah. So
that's fair,
I think I would take Jones ahead of Adams, because I think Jones is more QB independent long term if Rodgers and Adams both move on. So I would take Jones long term. I'd probably take him in like the 3rd round, like early to mid 3rd round. Devontae Adams probably mid to late 3rd round, and then Aaron Rodgers. It's really hard to judge where quarterbacks are going in any given draft, so I can't really comment on where he'd be going. But I would say quarterback wise, he's the top 8 quarterback probably still.
He's probably in Dynasty probably going to end up 5th or 6th round pick in superflex startups, and at that point, you're getting an older win now type of asset. So he's still behind his other 2 teammates, but I do think that he's well worth the pick where he's going to go, and especially if you're trying to win now. I mean, this should be a guy locked and loaded for top 8 production for at least the next few years. So
facts.
Superflex keeper league, Montgomery for a 4th or Goddard for a 10th.
I'll take Montgomery. I know that's not really like great value on Montgomery because they'll probably go in the 3rd. But I'll take Montgomery. I don't think Goddard for a 10th is enough of a huge value discrepancy. He's probably a 7th, 8th, 9th round pick in most home league keeper leagues. So I probably wouldn't lean the tight end because he's not enough of a difference maker to move off of Montgomery for me.
Yeah, that's fair. What are your takes on Michael Carter and Travis Etienne? So we'll talk about Etienne first. Bush's RB1, my RB2 pre-draft. Obviously, with the landing spot of Najee, you have to put him ahead. But I think Etienne is going to be that next Aaron Jones, going to be that next breakaway, efficient home run hitter. And people want to just immediately say, oh, well, what about James Robinson? What a shitty landing spot, yada, yada. Travis Etienne, the talent, is light years ahead of what James Robinson is. He's got the commitment of the coaching staff with that 1st-round draft capital, and he's playing with his college quarterback. This Etienne fade just doesn't make sense.
Somehow it's a bad thing that he's going to be targeted a lot out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Like I don't. To me, the Etienne fade's too far. If you want to fade him in redraft, I understand, because it probably will be a situation that is a split backfield, or at least somewhat of a murky situation to start the season. So redraft fade, I understand on Travis Etienne. I still think in redraft he's worth a 5th, 6th round pick, because this could be a guy that we're talking about, mid-season as the number 1 waiver pickup in fantasy, or a guy that can win people leagues down the stretch.
Yep. But by the way, the votes are exactly split on that poll. So if one person just wants to vote, so we can get this started up.
And with Michael Carter, he's already the starter in New York. He's already the starting running back. And now what does that mean exactly? I don't think he has a top 12 ceiling, because it's the New York Jets offense. He's not really a big, 220-pound back that can handle a 25-touch workload. I think he's going to be used in a similar role in terms of touch distribution to a guy like Austin Eckler, to a guy like Alvin Kamara, but obviously they're not going to be as valuable touches because of the offense he's in. So I think he's worthy of the 7th, 8th round pick that you have to spend on him in redraft. So he's a guy I really like in redraft, especially. Dynasty is a little bit more murky long term because he's only a 4th round pick. He doesn't have like true draft capital to dictate that the team, stay faithful to him, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, and if you want my full take on Michael Carter, I actually released a video about 5 days ago talking about my favorite rookie values in redraft this year, and Michael Carter was on that. This guy is, I think, my 4th highest owned running back in Underdog Fantasy right now. He's currently going off the board the late 8th, early 9th. Give me that value any day. Again, I think Tevin Coleman is washed up, as you'll hear on that video. 1.92 yards per carry, 2.7 yards per touch, negative 10 expected points added. Like, he's not a good player, but because of the familiarity with the system, because of the quote-unquote usage people expect, he's going to get pushed and going to be pushing Michael Carter's ADP down. I don't buy that Fugazi whatsoever. I think Tevin Coleman is just going to be some fodder back there.
Yeah, he's like one of the least like fear-inducing running backs in the league for me, like in terms of committee. I know everybody like has this stigma that like every running back needs to be alone in their backfield to be valuable for fantasy, but like backup running backs are a thing for a reason. It's because the position gets hurt all the time, and no running back gets 100% opportunity share. Like, so there's no reason for us to fade Michael Carter because of Tevin Coleman. Yeah, he's going to touch the ball, but it's running back. They're not going to just give Carter every touch.
Also, by the way, the poll just found its edge, and one quarterback, no tight end premium leads the way at 38%. So that's where we're going to stick with. I'll put the link in here, and can you put it in the Discord?
My Discord's still not loading for some reason.
So is it not?
Actually, yeah, I don't know why. I have to probably restart my computer after this, but either way, Mr. Smith says, where do you guys take the big? Okay, yeah, we already answered that. Jimmy G will be in Minnesota soon enough. Yeah, that's a bit of a hot take. I think the Colts should probably just go trade for him.
Also, by the way, I sent you the link in a private draft or private message. Okay, so
we can draft together if you want.
You want to?
Yeah, let's do it. Get some more people involved. I don't need to be in the draft alone. So Go Bill says also your takes on Joe Mixon. Okay, so early in the offseason, I would say I was all the way out on Joe Mixon. There's absolutely no way I would draft him at any point in redraft. I'm assuming that you're referring to. And I've cooled down on that take a little bit because I understand that the volume is going to be very, very high. The opportunity is going to be very, very high with Joe Mixon. So he's a guy that I would take I would probably start considering him early in the third round of redraft leagues, but he's not a guy I'm willing to take over some of these younger, way more talented running backs than him. Namely the second year guys like DeAndre Swift, Antonio Gibson, and then also guys like Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, and Austin Eckler. I just can't take him over guys like that. And even rookie and Najee Harris. I would take all those guys over Joe Mixon. But once we talk about Joe Mixon versus David Montgomery, Joe Mixon versus Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'll take Joe Mixon on that, on those arguments.
Yep, I agree there. Oh, Sam forgot to like. Thanks, Evan. There you go. You got the like distributed. By the way, we have one slot available in that draft, and Johnny Wick, as I'm talking, just fills it up. So you'll love to see it. So let me hit that share screen for you.
Yeah, Carl's the fucking boys are back. You love to see it.
Yes, sir. So you guys should be able to see that.
With that whole weed, did I miss something? Black market crap? Oh, okay, yeah, that thing where he was selling weed on the black market. That was from like 2011 though, wasn't it? Like I think that was a long time ago. I doubt he's gonna miss any time for that.
Guess what pick I got?
Oh, I guess you got one. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
This is just announce the league settings real quick.
All right. So based on the polls, this is a one quarterback, no tight end premium draft. So make sure you keep that in mind. Redraft. Let me actually put that into the name so people know. So one QB redraft.
And then Bryson said, "Thanks. I'm feeling a little risky today." Yeah, I see you with that. Brock Glazer said, "How much would you be willing to give up for pick 103 in a non-superflex one quarterback league? I proposed Chark, Pittman, and Mims to a wide receiver needy guy, and he wants to counter. So you want Pitts, and I would assume that 103 is a valuable pick, right? Because you're either getting Chase, Harris, or Pitts, and people probably know that those three guys are the top of this class. I'd be willing to give up much more than what you offered. Chark, Pittman, and Mims to get easily Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase or Najee Harris, whichever one is there. I'm willing to give up way more than that. I'd be willing to honestly. Would you be willing to throw a first on top of what he offered? Yeah, I think I'd be even willing to throw a first on top of that. So if you can get anything more, or if you can throw anything more that's not a first, then I would consider that a value. If you could throw another young receiver in that range, like a Chenault or something like that on top of it, or a second rounder or 2 second rounders or second and third or something like that, I would absolutely make that move to secure Kyle Pitts at 103.
Yep, I agree there. So Mr. Smith says, thanks for the advice. Legends, your channel is like having a cheat code that people have not caught on to yet. Always great content. Appreciate that, Mr. Smith. And yeah, if you guys
get that comment a lot, and unfortunately, people are not willing to share us with their friends, which is an unfortunate part about that.
Which makes sense because you guys want to win your leagues, but yeah, don't worry, it'll happen naturally. Etienne or Javonte in Dynasty, we both slightly prefer Etienne, but Javante's fantastic in his own right.
Yeah.
At 11 half PPR, am I reaching with Harris and CEH?
Harris, no. CEH, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think CEH even belongs remotely in the second round conversation, let alone, I guess, the early second round conversation where you'd be taking him there. I'm not even considering Clyde Edwards-Helaire until I'm midway through the third round. And that might sound, harsh to some people, but I'm not sure that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is actually a good running back. And that's kind of a big deal in terms of fantasy football. We can, make all the excuses we want about the limited offseason and this and that. But the bottom line is, if DeAndre Swift was a Kansas City Chief last year, we'd be drafting him in the first round. If J.K. Dobbins was a Kansas City Chief last year, we'd be drafting him in the first round. If Jonathan Taylor was a Kansas City Chief last year, we might be drafting him number one. Like, every other one of the sophomore running backs would have done a better job in the Chiefs offense last year than CEH did. And this is an offense that will provide him with a good floor because they score a lot of points, but it's not an offense that's ever going to be centered around him. And nobody can blame them for that. This is the Patrick Mahomes offense, right? They're not going to run the ball in the red zone a lot because they have Patrick Mahomes. They're not going to check down a lot because they can push the ball downfield with Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. It's a situation that I think people are overvaluing the Kansas City Chiefs offense, and I'm not really willing to do it personally.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree there. And again, if people are taking him in the second round, I'll take at least the top 12 running backs, and he's personally my RB16. I have him in that tier with David Montgomery.
I would honestly rather have David Montgomery than him, and it's not even really that close for me.
Yeah, there's
they're in this, I guess I shouldn't say that because they are in the same tier, but to me, I would rather have Montgomery. Where I get into Clyde Edwards-Helaire territory is when I'm debating between Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Miles Sanders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Josh Jacobs, or Chris Carson, or Darrell Henderson, or Travis Etienne. Like, I would take Clyde Edwards-Helaire over all those running backs, but Dobbins, Montgomery, Swift, Mixon, like none of these guys I would take. I would take Clyde Edwards-Helaire over.
Absolutely agree. I'm at the 108.5 PPR. Would you take Aaron Jones or Saquon if both are available? I'm assuming both get great volume. I personally would go with Saquon Barkley with what we know right now. Now, if any news comes out, then it's hesitant. But I would want to know when your draft is because a lot can change like between then and now. And next week, we're actually going to have that video out for you guys to see what Dr. Edwin Porras thinks about that Saquon Barkley injury. So as of right now, gun to my head, if I had to make the choice, I personally would go with Saquon.
Gun to my head, if I had to make the choice, I would go with Saquon as well. I'm in a similar position as you. I'm going to be at the 109 in my home league. And if Saquon's situation's still murky, I might have the exact same decision that you have. And we'll have to talk to Edwin and see what some of the other reports are coming up. Until that's a situation I would definitely follow closely.
Yep, absolutely agree there. Are we doing 3 wide receivers? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so let's talk about the mock real quick, see what's happened so far. We can see that the main 2 receivers went in the first round that I expect to go in the first round. A lot of the time on Underdog, you'll see Stephon Diggs, Calvin Ridley, sometimes DeAndre Hopkins sneak their way into the first round, but a lot of running backs to start this draft, which is to be expected for the most part.
I'm thinking here Keenan Allen and the tight end. What are your thoughts?
I would not actually. Yeah, I would go with Waller if that's the direction you want to go with. I would not go with Kittle though in the second round. I can't do it.
That's fine. All right, we can go with Waller. The boys are rolling. Is there nice seeing Deli Meats in the chat? Atta boy. How's the knee? It's doing a lot better.
Did you pay him to ask you that?
No. But yeah, Robbie, I better see you over here on Friday. We got to go set the tone, eh?
Yeah.
Full PPR. But by the way, the knee's doing a lot better. Like I can actually bend it. I can actually walk. So it's a lot lighter than I thought initially. So thank goodness. Full PPR, AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson, or Keenan Allen. Ranking those guys in order, I personally would go Allen, Brown, and Jefferson.
Yeah, the full PPR definitely makes me lean Allen too because A.J. Brown and Jefferson will undoubtedly be more efficient than Keenan Allen, but I expect Keenan Allen to probably get like 20 to 30 more receptions than those guys do. And that's a lot of points in a full PPR league. So I think Keenan Allen's a lock for 100-plus receptions. And those guys, I don't think they're going to get to those kind of numbers. Obviously, they're probably going to have more touchdowns, more big plays, but Keenan Allen is honestly just as safe as they come and has, pretty equivalent ceiling in a full PPR to those guys.
Absolutely agree there. Go Bills. Thanks, guys. This channel is criminally underrated. Appreciate that. Go Bills. Everyone drop a like. Yeah, you heard it. Go Bills and drop a like. There we go. No, it's brand new. I saw
this Julio stuff, but wasn't the allegations from like him and Roddy White or something in like 2011? I swear to God, that's what the allegations were from. Maybe it's a new thing. But I don't know why the hell Julio Jones is selling black market weed when he makes millions of dollars playing football.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Like, yeah, nothing like recently like that would have affected him nowadays. But by the way, I will say right now, Kittle at the 310 is a freaking
At that point, I'm
value.
definitely going to pull the trigger on Kittle. When you get into Julio Jones, Allen Robinson territory of wide receivers, I would much rather have Kittle. And you can see Clyde went in the mid-third round of where we're drafting. Again, that's appropriate value. He went behind Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins. I can't get on board with second round Clyde Edwards-Helaire though.
I agree. AJ Green balling this year. I disagree, brother.
Hey, it wouldn't shock me if he was better than he was last year.
Yeah,
but I also don't think he's going to suddenly be some great option for fantasy. But in best ball in the 15th, 16th round, if he's on the board, I don't hate that. I don't hate the pick.
The thing is, he's going in the 12th round nowadays.
I know. That's the unfortunate thing. But could he be the second target in that offense? It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, no, I agree there. But yeah, this is a guy who had 107 targets last year, had 503 receiving yards.
Yeah.
First time in a long time that me and Danny aren't back-to-back. That is fact, Spicy. Where are you picking right now? You're at the 9 slot. Okay, I see what you got there. A little Jones, Ridley, Julio action. That's what's up. Great, thank you. Anytime, Brock. Hey, go Bills. I love your name. Hey, we got a couple Bills fans in the chat. There you go.
Yep.
Okay, you guys are going to be freaking jumping on tables together, aren't you?
Okay, I'll throw Sutton in for my counter. Yeah, so if you can get the 103 using Cortland Sutton, DJ Chark, Mims, and I think it was Pittman was the other one that he talked about.
I can do that.
Yeah, those guys are fine. Some of them are fine, not Mims, but some of them are fine young receivers. Like the fact that you could get Kyle Pitts or Chase or ETN or whoever you're targeting with that pick, give me the stud asset. And you might even be able to get away with taking one of those guys out. If you could go Sutton, Mims, and Pittman, or Sutton, Chark, and Pittman, or something like that. Or yeah, just get rid of Mims if you can, actually. But yeah, either way, I think that's a great deal for you if you can pull it off.
Is there a way you guys can rate my team? Just DM either of us, and we'll be happy to answer you guys. So
yeah,
if you guys have any questions,
Twitter's on our. Oh, are they on right now?
Are they on? Oh yeah,
no,
if you go like that. So you guys can see the ads right there at Danny Football 59 if you want to contact me, at Football Stock if you want to contact Corey, and of course, easiest way to reach us, join our free Discord. A lot of avid, I think there's about 350 avid football fans in there that are basically talking football nonstop in there. So it's a very enjoyable community. If you're not already in it, feel free to join there, and you'll see me and Bush at the top in that Discord. And if you want to DM either of us on Discord, feel free. But let me get back.
Yeah, Brock, I totally agree. Swift and Dobbins were the perfect two guys. If they would have went with one of those guys at running back, then we'd be talking about the next Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree there. What's up, guys? First time seeing you live. Love the channel. Appreciate that, Ben. Nice seeing you joining the squad. 0%. I would take Hopkins in the first. Murray is not a good quarterback.
I don't think he's a bad quarterback, but I do agree he's definitely overrated. A lot of people think he's like some elite passer. He's not an elite passer. He's like a top 15 quarterback in the NFL from a passing perspective. But Hopkins in the first, a little rich for me as well. But I don't want to say I understand it, but if you're deciding between some riskier running backs that you might not necessarily believe in, I don't mind going for a target hog wide receiver 1 instead.
Yep, absolutely. So we're on the clock here. Do you want to go with Evans and Ayuk or Evans and Darrell Henderson?
I'll take Evans for sure. What do we got at wide receiver at running back? Is there anybody available? That's
Darrell Henderson's the main one.
Darrell Henderson, here. Chris Carson. Are we at the 6th round or the 5th round?
5th.
Yeah, I actually don't mind Chris Carson at this point, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't mind going Evans and Carson, but we could go wide receiver. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I personally would lean Henderson because of that early season rushing schedule for Carson. But I mean, if you want to go Carson, I'm fine with mixing that in.
Yeah, you're right. I actually forgot about the rushing schedule. Let's go with Henderson.
All right, bet. So good looking squad here, and of course it's not underdog, so we are allowed to take Darrell Henderson because it's not best ball mania where you just lose value.
In the puppy drafts, we can take him now.
Yeah, you can take him in the puppy too as well. But Murray is not a good quarterback.
Getting sued from the past, apparently Jones and White. Yeah, so it was from a while ago, but I guess they're getting sued now. I don't think there's going to be any kind of repercussions, suspension wise or anything. It's from a long time ago.
Yep. It was tough choosing McLaurin over Kittle.
I don't think so. I would take McLaurin over Kittle.
I personally would go Kittle, but it's a very tough choice. The Wheat Company. Oh, the Wheat Company soon.
Oh, geez.
This is defendants have sold 3 million in cannabis. Oh my god.
Yeah, it definitely needs that pot money. It's not like I swear to God, too, Julio asks for a new contract every year. And then they just like add him. They give him like a signing bonus to shut him up. Usually, it seems like. So if anybody's not hurting for money, it should be Julio Jones.
Yeah, definitely. For some reason, I like drafting in the 1-7 to 1-11 range in redraft leagues. I personally just love the yearly pick. Give me Christian McCaffrey. Let me figure the rest out.
I agree with the Christian McCaffrey side of things, but I don't mind picking that 111, or 109 to 111 range because you can secure 2 stud running backs. The only problem with that that I don't like about that strategy is that you seem to miss a lot of great wide receivers in the 3rd round. Usually, at least I've noticed on Underdog, by the time I get, let's say if I got Aaron Jones at 109 and I got Antonio Gibson in the 2nd round, that's a great start. But for the most part, I'm looking at Julio Jones, Chris Godwin,
DJ Moore,
at wide DJ Moore, Tyler Lockett at wide receiver in the 3rd round, whereas I missed out on the Keenan Allens, the Terry McLaurins, the CeeDee Lambs for the most part.
Yeah. Bless you. I guess when you sneeze, you said bless you.
Oh, sure.
And he shot the Bills actually moved to Austin. I don't know what's going on with the Bills right now. They got a lot of freaking news going around. You got Cole Beasley basically talking nonsense on Twitter. You got freaking Jordan Poyer and his wife just like agreeing with that, like full on. I don't know what's going on with that team. Would you take Devontae at 8 over Saquon and Jones? At this current point, I personally would.
Yeah, I would as well, especially if I'm in any kind of PPR league. Devontae Adams just a superstar wide receiver for fantasy. Like it's hard not to project the guy for 160 plus targets minimum and at least 12 touchdowns. Like it's really hard to say that about any wide receiver. We really haven't been able to say that about a wide receiver since Antonio Brown in his prime.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's just so safe. Are you worried about Henderson as your RB2? When you have Christian McCaffrey, you could probably put me at RB2, to be honest. But talking about Henderson, I do think if he's on the field and they don't add somebody significant during the offseason, I do think this is a guy that I think his floor is top 20 running back, honestly, with the workload.
Yeah, everything we said about Akers in terms of situational factors apply to Henderson. The only thing that's keeping Henderson from having the same ceiling as Akers is his own ability, in my opinion. And he actually had some trust from the coaching staff in terms of 3rd down work that we didn't really see from Akers totally. So there's a chance that he even gets more target volume than Akers would have gotten in that role.
Yep, I agree there. I bought about 40 grand worth of that 3 million. There you go. Assuming that they win jobs, what value would you give to Taysom Hill and Easton in Dynasty Superflex 12 teams? Nothing more than a mid to late second, honestly. Like
Taysom's interesting because of his rushing ability. I think he could be, a light version of what Jalen Hurts can offer in terms of a season by season basis, but he's still an older quarterback, so it's not anything I'm throwing a 1st round pick at.
Yep, I agree there. Would you rather have Stephon Diggs or Tyreek for this year in standard PPR?
Tyreek in standard.
PPR.
Standard PPR. That is really weird way of phrasing that. Okay, so if it's PPR, I'm taking
Diggs. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's PPR, I'm taking Diggs. But if it's half or it's standard, I will take Tyreek Hill.
Agreed there. I like late first so I can get Eckler and Gibson, take full advantage of the full point PPR. Yeah, that's a good plan too. We love both of those backs. With the 103 pick, should you draft Henry or Barkley? Neither. You take Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, that's what I would do as well. But it depends on your risk tolerance, man. I don't know if you can stomach passing Saquon Barkley when you see what happens this year if he is fully healthy. If we have no clarity on Barkley's situation by the time you draft, I don't hate going with Derrick Henry as not a safe pick, but like a risk-averse pick at the top of the draft.
Yep, I agree. So we're back on the clock here. Would you want to go with like DJ Chark and like anybody or Viscous?
I like DJ Chark there. What are we looking at running back? Is there a chance we can bolster our RB2 by committee kind of thing?
Nothing like Chase Edmonds.
There's no Javonte or anything on the board.
No, but there is Trey Sermon.
Trey Sermon's on the board.
It's not bad. I mean, 7th round. I mean, we could always.
Let's wait on Trace on the running back. We might be able to get somebody on the way back after that.
Which wide receiver here catches your eye?
What are we looking at quarterback? Is there anybody available that's interesting?
Wilson, Rogers, nothing else.
No. You can go ahead and make your pick at wide receiver. It doesn't matter to me.
We'll go with Boyd. Fuck it. I don't know.
True.
PPR.
I probably would have went Fuller if I had the choice.
Again, like I was panicking. There was 2 seconds on the clock, so I just went with one. So yeah, there's that.
Imagine Julio growing pot in his backyard. It's better than what a former Atlanta Falcon did in his backyard. So.
Oh yeah, yikes.
Yeah, changing it up. Who has more of a chance to go into the Super Bowl, Rams or Packers? I would say the Packers probably because
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Stafford. As much as I think Stafford's a good quarterback or probably a great quarterback, he's not as good as Aaron Rodgers. And the fact that the Packers have been in the NFC Championship 2 straight years kind of indicates that their team's probably got some good playoff experience under their belt too. And they're all pretty much returning everybody, just like the Bucs. They have pretty much the same team that they've had the last 2 years. So that continuity probably lends itself to more postseason success.
Sorry, I just read Brayson's comment.
It's odd too.
Traded Saquon for DK. And okay. As much as I love Saquon Barkley, this is the type of deal you do. This is an absolute smash. DK and 3 first, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Also flipped Cook for Javonte and Waller plus picks to start my rebuild. Yeah, you did fantastic there, Armin. Great job.
You might as well just unsubscribe. You don't need our help.
Although Javonte went in the 3rd round.
That's too high. That's too high right there. I mean, like Javonte's good. Well, if Melvin Gordon is cut, then that is appropriate value for Javonte Williams. But as of right now, Melvin Gordon's still on the team, so I can't get on board with Javonte that early.
Henry's going to be RB1 at the end of the year, in my opinion. I just don't see that ceiling for him, honestly. Like if McCaffrey
and Barkley go down again, maybe.
Yeah, and if Zeke goes down, if Aaron Jones goes down, if Saquon Barkley goes down, if Alvin Kamara goes down, maybe Dalvin Cook goes down. Yeah, maybe. But
I think Henry's ceiling is a top 3 running back. And that's not a bad thing. Obviously, it's a great thing to be a 20 point per game running back, but it's pretty difficult to finish as the RB1 overall when you don't really have any receiving capabilities. And Derrick Henry literally rushed for 2,000 yards last year and still couldn't do it. So, and McCaffrey got hurt last year too. So it's going to be hard for Henry to reach that RB1 overall. But could he have another 1,800 yards and 18 rushing touchdowns this year? Absolutely, and that's going to make him a top 3 running back for sure.
Yeah, no, I fully agree there. So this is the comment that made us laugh. There's some things that the Falcons got going on. Thank you guys. It made my day. I'll stay subscribed though. Appreciate that, Armin. Appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate that. Smith.
I didn't even read the name out first. That is
Julio the third is ridiculous. Yeah, it is. It is pretty ridiculous. Thundercunt Smith.
He's got the logo and everything, bro.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's funny as hell.
Oh, that's epic.
Looking over the draft, I'm trying to see like whereabouts the main tier 2 quarterbacks went. I'm always interested to see that because I think they're a really fascinating part of fantasy this year because I've already talked about the fact that I'm kind of higher on taking a quarterback early than usual. But if the quarterbacks go in the range that they did, that's where I expect the value to be. But sometimes you see these quarterbacks go in the 5th, 6th round. And at that point, I'm absolutely willing to pull the trigger on guys like Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, and Dak Prescott.
Yeah, no, I agree there. Great name.
Great name.
Who do you think has the best draft so far? So I'll let you answer this because obviously I'm a little biased right now. I mean, to be fair, both of us are.
Okay, I'm looking him over right now. I actually really like, even though Sweven did a bit of a 0 RB move, I really like the value he got on everybody that he has. So he's kind of doing a pretty good job there. I dig Spicy Hot's team as well.
Yep, that's another good one. I mean, obviously, we like our team.
As much as I'm a bit lower on some of the guys Bryson has, I still like the team overall with Elliott and Mixon and McLaurin, Jackson, Woods, Claypool.
Yeah,
I don't mind that team whatsoever.
That's a good team, and I like what LJ's doing here too. Like that wide receiver core is absolutely phenomenal.
Barkley, AJ Brown, CEH, DJ Moore, Travis Etienne, also pretty strong.
Yep. And obviously, again,
I think my favorite team of all of them is Jay Heaps. Kamara, Jefferson, Montgomery, Kupp, Carson, Robbie Anderson, Noah Fant. I really like that. I also really like Lonnie Skywalker's team as well.
The only thing I personally would have done is if it was Woods instead of Carson. Aside from that, this is a phenomenal team.
One strategy that I really like to employ is what Lonnie did, though. with instead of going hero RB, you go robust RB and you get Swift and Dobbins as your other two running backs. I don't mind that strategy whatsoever because I think Swift and Dobbins are absolutely worth those picks.
Yeah, both are definitely applicable at the early point. That's why, again, like
I agree with you. I do really like the top of the draft this year. Normally, it's like it seems like there's a drop off, but depending on how your league drafts, sometimes those running backs won't be there, right? Like you might get into a situation where you take CMC, but your league goes so running back heavy that the best running back available is David Montgomery by that point, and then at that point you just go wide receiver.
Yeah, no, definitely. You again at the top of the draft, if you want to go robust, if you want to go fragile, like there's so many options, and that's why, like, if there was a year to make it so that it was a third round reversal, it would be this year because I honestly believe the 101 and the 102 are just such an advantage.
I honestly think the top 30 picks or so is like advantage in general. Yeah. So the fact that at the 101, 102 you can get 3 guys in there versus at the 109 you only get 2 guys in there because by the time you come back, you're looking at guys like Miles Sanders, Chris Godwin types instead of guys like Keenan Allen and some of the other wide receivers that went earlier. So, yeah, overall, I would say the best spot to draft from this year, in my opinion, is probably in the top 2, top 3.
Yep, I agree here. So, looking at the board here, who are you leaning? There's any running backs available? Unfortunately, all of our top guys are gone. Let me just double check here.
You should say that.
Quarterback.
Pimp juice. Yeah, pimp juice.
Indeed. Got a couple guys here. I think we can still wait. I'm looking at another wide receiver here. You want to double up on Antonio Brown and Michael Gallup?
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Antonio Brown for sure. What is Sermon's probably gone, I'm assuming. Running back completely
running back's a wasteland.
Yeah, complete wasteland. Yeah, I wouldn't even mess around with it then.
Yeah. All right, perfect.
So Hudson Wood says, I have my startup for a 16-team PPR Dynasty Superflex League soon. Any advice for a team on a draft with that many teams? My biggest advice is
skill positions.
Skill position scarcity is very real in a 16-team league. You said it's a Superflex League. Like that means mathematically there's 32 starting quarterbacks in the league. There's 16 teams in your league. So if you are somehow able to secure 3 starting quarterbacks, you're going to be at a huge, huge advantage compared to the rest of your league mates. And running backs as well. Like I am fading the living shit at a wide receiver in a format like this.
Yep, I definitely agree there. You say that, but try going through middle and high school with the name Thunder Gun. I'm just imagining. Also, yeah, what? You got Jamar Chase in exchange for Chris Carson in a dynasty. And flipped Amari Devontae and Fournette for JT. You absolutely banged both of those moves.
Like I said, dude, you probably should just unsubscribe because you don't need our help. Like these trades are. I'm assuming you're playing with some new dynasty players that don't really know how long-term value works. Because if you wanted to take Chris Carson over Jamar Chase this year, I wouldn't really blame you. I think that's probably a fair assessment. One's a running back; he's going to have probably more value. But I mean, in a dynasty league, that's not even close.
Yeah, no, definitely. Teachers must have bullied you.
Every supply teacher must have thought he was a fake name on the attendance.
Yeah, facts. So I personally would rank those guys Monty, CEH, and Carson in a non-PPR.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Thanks, fellas. Swivin is me. Your advice is great. Appreciate that, Evan.
Dope.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Evan, okay, yeah, I see it now.
True.
Favorite round to draft a quarterback. Mine is round 7 under. Personally, round 5, 6 seems to be the sweet spot this year. If you can get one of those tier 2 guys, or personally, I think it's tier 1, but those guys after Patrick Mahomes, you're talking about the Lamar Jackson, the Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, and Josh Allen range. They're currently going off the board in that 5th, 6th area. And I personally think they have the anchor to absolutely win you a week. And they're currently going off the board literally 1.5 rounds after where Mahomes goes. So I think that's the sweet spot.
I like that spot as well, but I have a suspicion that in more home league types, those guys are going to be 3rd, 4th round picks instead of 5th, 6th round picks like we see on underdog drafts. So I personally like round 8 to 10 where I can get Tom Brady or Jalen Hurts or Matthew Stafford or somebody in that realm of quarterback because Ryan Tannehill I didn't even mention there, Joe Burrow even too. I really like those guys because I feel like they offer the best value. And I think when you look at where the other positions dry up, it lines perfectly with those quarterbacks, right? Because when I'm deciding between Ryan Tannehill and Laviska Shenault, it's a lot easier to make the Tannehill pick than as if I'm deciding between Dak Prescott and Brandon Ayuk. Like it's a lot tougher for me to pull the trigger on on Dak Prescott if that's the range he's going in the draft as compared to some of those that tier 3, tier 4 of quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's fair. My top frozen auto pick. Oh, that is unfortunate. Where did you?
Was he the one who took Javonte?
Tunyon.
Oh, Tunyon. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Tunyon there.
That's not bad. Yeah. How is Deontay Johnson, the first Pittsburgh wide receiver off the?
Oof. Okay,
No,
I'm not even kidding. This is no exaggeration. If Juju Smith-Schuster was on the board in the 13th round, I wouldn't select him. I think he is Sterling Shepard. Like, that is the type of target volume he gets. It's 6 average depth of target type of target volume. I think Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson are the wide receivers you want in that receiver core. I think Deontay Johnson probably leads the team in targets, where Chase Claypool leads the team in touchdowns. Juju Smith-Schuster to me is the outcast. I look at him the same way I look at Tyler Boyd and the Bengals.
Yeah, no, I fully agree here. I'll show you the reason why.
You're going to show his reception perception, right? Yeah. So, and on top of all what I just said, Juju Smith-Schuster is literally like a bottom 5th percentile in terms of separation versus man and press coverage. Like, he is strictly a zone coverage receiver. He runs, curls and finds soft spots in zones. And in a full PPR league, that'll work, I guess, as like a wide receiver 5 option, but you're taking this guy in wide receiver 3 range. Like,
holy crap, all of our quarterbacks went off the board.
To me, he's just not worth where he's going. I think he should be a double-digit round pick.
Yeah, we're talking about a guy who was 4th percentile against man, 6th percentile against press, and 32% of his routes were slants.
Yeah, he's literally Michael Thomas, except he isn't good.
Yeah, no, definitely. By the way, sorry for that Illuminati.
Can you stop sharing your trades in your bot league? That's pretty funny.
Who do you want to go here? Want to go Burrow, Fields, Lance? Who are you thinking here?
Burrow to me seems like a bit of an outlier in that conversation.
Yeah, we got Boyd. A little stack attack.
Yep. Will Atkinson says 12-team superflex dynasty. 1 team went running back heavy.
By the way,
Boyd as wide receiver 1. I think I can win the trade after early offers, but would make his team better on paper this year. Should I walk? Never worry about winning trades or making other teams better in your league. You do what's best for your team in every trade that you do. So if you happen to stack his team a little bit more, so be it. If your team got better, it was worth the move.
Yeah, no, definitely. Also, Naheem Hines, full PPR. I think that's a fine RB3 to take here.
Yeah, the only time I would worry about like not stacking another team is if I'm making a trade at the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. And this is like my biggest competitor for the playoffs this year. So like that's when I start to worry about it, but we don't know what's going to happen yet, right? We got a lot of the season, a lot of the off season still to happen. So I would just worry about whatever, value you can acquire to make your team better.
Agreed. Wait, is this the subscriber draft? No, sir. This is just a regular old mock draft. Trust me. Once we figure out all the pre-orders and everything like that, Underdog gives us our codes. We can have that figured out, and we'll let you guys know as soon as possible. And yeah, that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and basically for those of you that are curious, the breakdown of who's going to be in the subscriber draft, and this is the subscriber redraft league, right? We already have the Dynasty League that we already did, but the subscriber redraft league is going to be made up of about, so it'll be me and Danny separate on separate teams. And then I think we have about 5 or 6 people that pre-ordered both our Dynasty and redraft guide at the same time. And because they did that, it was $50 to do that back in February or whatever, then they did it. They got a guaranteed spot in both leagues. So a lot of those guys are in our listener Dynasty League as well. So I think there's about 8 spots total that are taken up already. Again, 1 spot will be given away to whoever comes up with the best league punishment. So that's 8-9 spots. And then we will draw the remaining from people that use our Underdog code or buy our draft guide outright.
Yep. Also, did you guys take Saquon this year? He is currently my 106 overall, or 107 overall, 105 running back.
I currently have him at 104 overall and my 4th running back. So that's the earliest I would take him. But again, if you want to go a little bit more risk averse, maybe you take Derrick Henry above him. Maybe you take Devontae Adams above him. Maybe even take Aaron Jones or Jonathan Taylor above him. But I personally would take him 104, gun to my head today if I was drafting. But if we keep hearing negative reports, if we keep hearing things that he's going to be limited, if we keep hearing we don't see him on the field much, then I'm going to move him down slowly. But as of now, I would take him 104.
Yeah, the only non-running backs I have him behind would be Kelsey and Adams for me personally.
Yeah.
Williams or Samuel, Dynasty and redraft. I personally
I think I'd take Samuel in both formats.
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well.
As much as the hype on Mike Williams is exciting, it's still Mike Williams. Like, he's still a guy that hasn't really stayed healthy in his career and is a guy that is a big play threat, not necessarily a guy that's going to get a lot of targets. I think Curtis Samuel has a bit more upside from a target perspective, and he seems to be in a position to get more volume than what Mike Williams is in. But it wouldn't shock me if Mike Williams ends up being the better asset long term. I think they're probably in the same tier of talent, and they're both about the same age as well.
Yep. Damn, you were one pick away from Swift. Yeah. I probably wouldn't have even taken him there. It's close.
I would have.
I can't take him over Waller or Allen.
I would have taken him over Allen.
Really?
Yeah. I would have taken him over one of the two. I have him rated higher than both of them. So
that's fair. Elijah.
Yeah.
Why did I read it like that?
PPR. So for Saquon in PPR. Yeah. The earliest I would take him in PPR is fourth overall.
Yep. For me, it would be sixth or seventh, depending on
you'd actually take Travis Kelsey over Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. I can't do that with tight ends, man.
Dude, you're sleeping on Kelsey. And
also, I'm not sleeping on Kelsey. I'm sure he'll be perfectly fine, but I can't take him over potential workhorse running backs.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You would take him in theory because you'd be able to get a decent running back in the second round.
Sure, but my decent running back is not, to me, Saquon and Darren Waller versus Najee Harris and Travis Kelsey. I'll take Saquon and Darren Waller.
I don't know about that.
That's the way I look at it, at least. Like, I don't think Kelsey is enough ahead of Waller for me to say that he's like a full round and a half in ADP better.
I mean, if you're talking about a point per game split, it's probably going to be about equal, and I would prefer that at the tight end position.
I'm sure Kelsey will return value on wherever he gets drafted. I just can't personally. I can't at a too scarce of a position like running back. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was a Connor pick. Oh, he auto picked Connor. Not the Botley. Damn it, Danny wanted Hines. Unfortunate. I don't know how I managed to pull off those trades, but it's a big money league, and some players just care about winning now. Yeah, that's...
Well, you can care about winning, and it's not like you're not even going to be good this year with some of those trades that you made. It's like you got Jonathan Taylor. Like, how is that like not a win now move, in my opinion? I have no idea what your league mates are thinking, but have fun with all the money that you win from.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thanks. No problem. Will, did you guys talk about Wentz after the injury news? Yeah.
No, but we are going to be talking about either today or tomorrow. One of us is going to do a video talking about the biggest risers and fallers in ADP. Yeah. And we will discuss pretty much everything newsworthy. Devontae Smith, Carson Wentz, like whatever has happened in the last, 6 days, 7 days since training camps have been open. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That'll either be tomorrow or the next day that comes out probably. Yep.
And Bryson, honestly, crazy. Congrats. Yep. Surgery news is Underdog and merch store. No, it is our official partner, Underdog Fantasy. And as you can say, yes, I've spent a good amount of money on this website, north of $500. But basically, it just gets you ready. It's a competitive mock draft. So you enter it, $5, $10, $25 entry drafts, and it helps you prepare for the season. And the best thing about this, it's not a normal mock draft because guess what? We'll talk about the BBM2 right now. It's $25 entry. Winner gets $1,001,001. So It's not just your normal Joe Schmo sleeper mock draft. This is a draft that not only do you mock and get ready for your actual drafts with your friends, your family, whatever, but you could actually win a good amount of money on it. So,
and here's the analogy I made to my buddy to explain what it's like mock drafting on Underdog. If you were to fight, let's say you're going to go to the MMA and you're going to try and fight a C-tier fighter, right? Drafting on Underdog is like sparring with Muhammad Ali to practice for fighting that C-tier fighter. You're basically getting world-class fantasy players that you're drafting against, Justin Herzig, Davis Maddox, some of these big, high roller fantasy players that know this, best ball inside and out. They know redraft inside and out. So you're going to start to get accustomed to players going in certain ranges of the draft. And then when you're in your home leagues, you're going to be like, how is Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts still on the board in the 7th round? And then you're going to realize that the experts are taking these guys in the 4th round, the guys that have a lot of money and a lot invested in this.
And some of your best piece of analysis or your best piece of information you can get is drafting in this draft, seeing where the ADP lies. Heck, if you actually want to see what the ADP is, you can literally just go here, boom, and there's actually a list of your exposure, everything. And if you want actual information to the ADP, you just go 444, Fantasy
Yeah.
football.
And we use Underdog Fantasy ADP because it is real money drafts. Because I've done mock drafts on other platforms like NFL Fantasy and Yahoo Fantasy, and people time out, they disconnect, they auto draft, they're drafting kickers and defenses in the 7th round. It's just not accurate information. So anytime you guys hear us talk about a bust candidate or a sleeper candidate, it's usually based on Underdog ADP for the reason that it's the most accurate that we have.
Yep.
Absolutely. Anyway, that was a long spiel about Underdog. So Armin Paul says, appreciate it, man. Cairo, day 12 of being trapped in my basement with COVID and watching FSE. What is reality anymore? Where are you from exactly? Because we were in a situation. I feel like we're flipped with the US now, right? Like it seems like Canada is in much better shape than the US is from a COVID perspective because we already dealt with this Delta variant stuff, whereas they're getting it now. And we were in lockdown for a long time. And Americans were going and living their lives.
Well, now you got 3 Minnesota Vikings quarterbacks dealing with it. So
yeah, man, like it's pretty rough that they're getting hit with I don't even know what number of wave it is, but yeah, I don't even know where you're from, Cairo.
Day 29 for JP. I would say I feel sorry for you, but we experienced the same thing. So Juju does not equal Boyd, in my opinion. I get where you're
that actually might have been a bad example because I think Boyd is just a far better fantasy asset than what Juju is.
Sterling Shepard. Heck, we picked Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, Sterling Shepard is my example for him because I think that's a lot more accurate from a talent perspective and from a role perspective.
Yep. I see your point about Juju, and it makes sense. I don't really have anything to counter other than that.
Yeah, Dan Rooney. I mean, can't argue with him.
I'm Team Robert. Wait, what? Where?
Team Robert in the draft, maybe.
Where's Team Robert? No, he's Bryson.
Okay, then I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh no, he likes Robert Tunyon.
Oh, Team Robert. Yeah, I am also Team Robert.
How you feeling, Cairo?
True.
Then he coughed up a large. Okay. What is going on here?
Isn't Dan Rooney the one that's like the pro? Like, didn't he create the Rooney Rule? So the racial slur part might be a little bit off there.
Well, Art Rooney, no.
Yeah, so like I don't. I actually I don't really know anything about the Dan Rooney experience, so I don't want to comment on that.
Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on.
Don't sleep on Barkley either. Yeah, man. I'm very, very excited to get Edwin on here because from what I've seen of him on Twitter, it sounds like he is absolutely, exposing mans for fading Saquon. Like it seems like he's very pro Saquon. So I'd be interested to see from a medical perspective why he's so pro Saquon.
Yep. I'm in the process of joining Underdog Fantasy with your code. Do I get all your rankings on your website with my deposit? Also, when I sign in on your website, is that supposed to be my UDI sign?
Okay, so a couple real quick. So yes, you get access to all of our rankings, right? If you sign up using our code, in our draft guide, you have our Dynasty rankings in there, our redraft rankings in there. You'll also see all of our rookie write-ups that we did pre-draft. You'll see all the databases from college football. You'll see all of our sleepers, our busts, our league winners. You'll also see a bunch of other things, including an offensive line article that we're working on finishing right now. So you'll get a lot from the site. No, they are not the same logins. Your Underdog login you'll be creating, and then when you sign up, I will create the login, or one of us will create the login for you on our personal site. And then once you are signed up, we'll email you that login, and you can change it once you get logged in the first time.
Yep. Also, can you mock draft Dynasty leagues on Underdog? No, it's not exactly a mock draft. It's more so basically what best ball is you're putting money into a redraft format, and it starts the best players for you every single week.
It's a redraft league with no maintenance. You don't have to do waivers. You don't have to trade. It's basically a mock draft, but it's actually for money because it's basically a betting site.
Exactly. Okay, I'll check out Underdog. I live in Vegas, so I don't know if I'll be able to enter anything for money. Because
you live in Vegas, dude. I think you're good.
Yeah, you're chilling there.
I think your state might be known for gambling.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Yeah. But sometimes I run into players that draft 5 quarterbacks. Yeah, there are a couple of those on the site, but
there's a couple trolls. But I guarantee you, there's a lot more in NFL fantasy mock drafts and Yahoo fantasy.
The ones that take kickers or Zach Moss in the front.
That's not even trolls. That's like how they're bots draft.
Bro, every single mock draft on NFL fantasy is just Zach Moss and Michael Pittman in the 6th round.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing there.
I love it.
Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess it's hitting the U.S. harder than I thought then. Jeez.
Yeah. Our babe's going for gold.
I'd be lying if I said I watched 1 second of the Olympics thus far. Maybe that makes me a shitty Canadian, but I honestly just have not watched the Olympics. It's not something
I have not
expressed too
watched
much
the
interest
Olympics
in.
at all. Yeah. Well, Americans don't like being told to stay home.
Trust me, Canadians didn't like it either for a while.
Yeah, we were a little more forgiving though.
Yeah.
Unlike any Saints wide receivers drafted, Thomas got taken at the 601 there. LOL. Yeah. Team Heaps, where are you here? Oh yeah. No, your team is phenomenal there.
Yeah, I think his was the team that I said was the best, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there you go. I'm attacking my lungs more these past couple of days, just retesting, came back positive again. Oh my goodness! Wait, so you're
so you got COVID then? Yeah. Hope you're doing better. I'm not sure if you have the vaccine or not, but I can say from personal experience that I've had no side effects of being double vaxxed, and thankfully I haven't actually had COVID yet. So.
Yep, same with me. Got it. Thanks, Woods. No problem, Hudson. Hopefully that process is smooth for you in signing up. How far does Taylor stock drop now that the Carson Wentz is out? Not much for me personally. He's still
not a lot. I think his ADP will drop a little bit, but I don't expect his stock in terms of what I think about him to drop too much. So he's still a guy I'm still willing to spend a top 10 pick on.
Yep, agreed. Best ball is cool. Stacks are a big part of best ball. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a lot of content on the channel centered around best ball too. So we actually had Hayden Winks, who works for Underdog, who's like their primary content creator, along with Josh Norris. And he talked about the best strategy, especially for Best Ball Mania 2, the big contest that they have going. I see it at the top there, top left corner.
Yeah, so if you guys want to watch that, 1.1K about a month ago, we basically talked about our favorite strats and how it kind of differentiates from regular redraft, tourney to, in general, being able to best equip yourself in attacking your best ball draft. So,
yep. Now Vegas is tough on online fantasy betting. Really, that's kind of surprising. Yep. My friend can't play Prize Picks or DraftKings. Wow, to me that seems really weird that Vegas is one of the states that is hard on online betting.
Yeah, no, that is weird. Can you go through a few of these mock draft things and say one thing they did well and one thing they could do better? Yeah, yep. We could do that. I mean, looking at ours right here, the only thing I would say is maybe if we scooped up one running back earlier. Aside from that, I don't see much. I don't know. What do you see here?
The one thing I really like about our team is how we got Burrow at such a value. I think that's pretty good value on him. I mean, Stafford and Brady and Tannehill went pretty low too, but I think just in general, that tier of quarterbacks went at a lower value than I'm used to seeing with those guys. The mid-round wide receivers, I'm not like the hugest, fans of. Like, I think where we took Boyd, I might have went with a running back there. I think we potentially could have gone Sermon, I think, with that pick. Yeah, that might have bolstered our running back core a little bit because it is pretty weak, I would say. Looking at, I got to zoom in a little bit. Looking at the other teams, I think Lonnie did a great job. When you start out heavy running back like that, go for upside at wide receiver. You went Ayuk, Sutton, Corey Davis, a lot of guys that, obviously his wide receiver core isn't strong. It's not going to be the strong point of his team. I think what I probably would have done differently with him is not taking Chase Edmonds there. I think I would have went with another wide receiver. I think I would have, went for a Jalen Waddle, Rashad Bateman, something like that. Bateman going to the 7-12 is not something I'm used to seeing. I'm pretty sure that he went that high because how much we talk him up on here. So
yeah, absolutely. And the other one I would say here is Kenny Drake at the 10-11. Maybe if he went like a Gage, a Marshall, Hardman, Pittman, someone like that would be a good value. Where did Pittman go?
No, he went 10-6 there. Yeah. He actually went before. Okay, yeah, true.
With Heaves, I mean, nothing.
I don't really have too many complaints about what he did.
Yeah, no, he did a fine job here.
I mean, Mahomes is just not a guy I'm not willing to take, to be honest. I just don't see. I actually have Lamar ranked straight up ahead of Mahomes, so I got some shit for it. And the video that was supposed to be about where Robert Tonyan and Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers now rank in my rankings, a lot of people had a problem with the fact that I have Lamar Jackson 1 in the YouTube short that I did. So I have Lamar Jackson 1 basically because his rushing is unparalleled to any quarterback we've ever seen in NFL history, in fantasy football history. So that is why I have him 1. And it's the reason I wouldn't take Mahomes in the 3rd round, because I actually would just rather have Lamar Jackson a round and a half, 2 rounds later.
Yeah, absolutely. With Abe, we got Barkley, Brown, Edwards-Helaire. Nothing that really sticks out to me.
Yeah, honestly. Nothing that really sticks out to me either.
Yeah, that was a good job there. The main
Javonte is a little early for me. It's just that's really my only complaint with it. I think Chase is fine where he went. Hawkinson in the 5th, I like. The rest
Also,
of his draft, really, even Juju
Watson.
in the 8th round isn't the worst thing in the world. So just Javonte Williams, really. I think you kind of panicked and just picked a running back there, if I'm being honest. So
Yeah.
maybe you're looking at Edward Helaire or Dobbins or something.
I'd also say Watson too. I wouldn't take him in the 10th round.
Honestly, with Deshaun Watson, if you want to throw the last pick of your draft, if we don't know clarity on the situation, but we're getting bad news, seems day in and day out with him. I don't know if you guys saw the video that came out today. I watched it. Doesn't look good for his legal situation. So I probably wouldn't just spend a draft pick on Watson, period.
Yep. In terms of Bryson, he had his strategy down, roster construction down. You got the 2 early running backs. You don't take another until round 8. I think that's a good way to look at it. You're expecting those guys to hit. You're expecting Elliott and Mixon to be 2 workhorse backs. So after he gets them, McLaurin, Lamar Jackson gives you that positional advantage at the quarterback position. Woods, Claypool, Deebo Samuel. So he bolsters.
Yeah, I have no complaints about his team. I actually really like it.
Yeah, no, he did a good job. With Crushers, same thing. He's got the hero RB. I like, personally, if I'm in the middle of my draft, the reason why I prefer going Kelsey or Adams in the middle is because if you try to hero RB with a first round running back, your team is automatically going to be at a disadvantage compared to the hero RB teams with the Kamara or with the McCaffrey, the Kamara, and the Cook at the top. So I personally like what he did here. You get that elite number 1 overall wide receiver, in my opinion, with Adams, and still get a high upside running back to pair with him. Gibson.
I might have gone Kittle over Robinson. That's my only complaint.
That's the only qualm. Yeah. Aside from that, I think he did a good job here. I personally also would have mixed in a wide receiver where he went with 3 here. But aside from that, I think he did a really good job.
Yeah. I think Spicy Hot's team, I don't really have any complaints about it. Gaskin's not somebody I'm overly high on, but at the 5'9", I think it's a fine pick.
Yep, I agree with that. Swevin, you got elite positional advantage. That's another spot I like. If you're at the 110, I'm really enjoying, especially in a full PPR, going that wide receiver route. Listen, you got 2 of the top 3 wide receivers. Pair him up with Kittle, who I think is the top 3 tight end. The only qualm I'd say is if you had gone with another wide receiver or a running back instead of Kyler, and maybe even switch those picks with him and Hunt. Aside from that, I think it's a good job.
Yeah, I don't really have any complaints about going Kyler there because you got the elite positional advantage at every other position. If you're going to go 0 RB, you better go all the way 0 RB pretty much. This is the way I look at it because you kind of need those elite positional advantages at other positions if you don't have good running backs. And our listener league last year, I didn't intend on this to happen, but I basically went 0 RB because Jonathan Taylor, Mark Ingram, and Austin Eckler were my top 3 running back picks. Eckler was hurt. JT was terrible for the first 10 weeks of the season, and Ingram was dog shit. So I had my team carried by the fact that I had Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Stephon Diggs, and Justin Herbert, basically, which is the construction essentially of your team.
It wasn't really a 0 RB though, because you took 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds.
Right. But no, I took Adams and
Adams, Eckler, and Taylor.
Yeah, and then Taylor and Waller, or no, not Waller. Who was my next pick? I don't even remember who it was, but either way.
You had 3 running backs in the first 5 rounds, brother.
Right, yeah. But what I mean is that my team ended up becoming a 0 RB team for most of the season because those guys were hurt / not playing well. And by the end of the season, JT and Eckler came back, so it was fine. But
it's fair. Another one here, Najee, Kelsey, Allen, Sanders. The only one I would say there, I personally wouldn't have gone Allen in this situation.
I think I would have gone with a guy like Godwin or Lamb there.
Or Lamb, yeah. I personally take Lamb.
I don't have any qualms about going like 4th round for Miles Sanders. I don't really have a complaint about that. I wouldn't necessarily draft him based on some of the wide receivers that were there, but if you want to go with a running back there, I don't think it's a terrible pick.
Yep, I agree. And with Armaladov, the only main qualm I have here is Michael Thomas. I just think it's too early given the uncertainty around the injury.
You might be surprised hearing me say this. I don't think I would take Bateman that early. At the 7-12, that's a little early for a rookie wide receiver. As much as I really like the guy, I think there's probably some guys that are a little bit more proven that I would have went with and look to. I start looking at Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, guys like that in the 8th, 9th round, maybe 9th, 10th even. So that's usually the range I'm looking for those guys.
So we'll get through some more questions here. We're a little behind. You also review the teams we just did. But Vegas doesn't allow. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. That's basically the same way it works for us in Canada too.
Taking Kelsey in first round doesn't pan well. I disagree because I think even as good as I love Waller and Kittle, when you're talking about Kelsey, you're basically locking in 1,300 yards and double-digit touchdowns at the tight end position. And look, could Waller and Kittle end up producing like that? Yeah, they definitely could. I would be shocked if Kelsey didn't. That would be the difference.
to me, the only way I'm taking an early tight end is if I'm going hero RB where I have McCaffrey and I want to go with Waller at the 2 turn or Dalvin Cook potentially. And the only time I'm getting Kittle usually is the situation where Swevin got him, where it was like the 310. That's usually the only time I would ever end up with Kittle, because I personally just don't really like taking tight ends early. I think I trust my ability to evaluate tight ends and predict the next Mark Andrews, Logan Thomas, Robert Tonyan type of tight ends. So I'm okay sacrificing that elite positional advantage to get the more scarce positions in running back.
Yep, I agree there. Baker, Pittman in a second for Lamar. Give me Lamar all day.
Yeah, give me Lamar easily there.
Exactly. We don't understand why. Yep. What's a better stack, Herbert and Allen or Dak and Lamb? I would need to know the format. Is it a super flex or is it a one quarterback? In a super flex, I'll take the preference of Dak over Herbert. A one quarterback, I prefer the reception upside of Allen.
I think I'd take Herbert and Allen regardless.
That's fair.
I think Herbert and Dak are close enough for me that I lean. Actually, I don't know, because if this is a dynasty, if this is in redraft, I would take Allen, Herbert for sure.
Yeah.
But if this is a dynasty league, I'd probably take Dak and Lamb from the age perspective of Lamb and Dak.
If that's a dynasty league, it's not even close.
Yeah. If this is redraft, I'll take Herbert and Allen though.
Yeah. Okay. DK and FD. Yeah. I think it's because they won't be in control. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, they're just talking. I'm currently in Florida, but getting hit very hard with new Delta cases. I'm in the military, and we can't go out anywhere in town. That's
crazy,
brutal.
man. Even with us with the Delta cases, we did a good job, I think, just of containing the spread of it. So we kind of were just pumping vaccines galore for while the things were shut down. Like my hair right now, I have a haircut for the first time in like 3 months. Like that was like done by a hairdresser. Like salons and stuff like just opened a couple weeks ago here.
Yeah, my barber would just come to my base.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have a hookup like that.
I'm in a 16-team keeper. I haven't drafted yet. Single quarterback, have Lamar. I want to run 3 running backs. Yeah, I mean, go for it. That makes sense. Bateman with the muscle toughness. Do you guys read their own words when they type them? What does muscle toughness even mean? I don't know.
Muscle toughness? Is that sounds like a good thing?
Yeah, are muscles supposed to be tough?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty tough,
Any minor injuries don't really bother me, to be honest. Yep. Unless, like, for wide receivers, if they have a minor injury, it doesn't usually bother me. If it's like a hamstring injury, it's like a grade 2 hamstring strain or something, that's when I start to get a little nervous. Even Devontae Smith, I'm not even really all that nervous with Devontae Smith's injury because knee sprains are not something that are going to necessarily hamper him going forward.
He basically has the same exact injury as me. Trust me. It's
the only people
serious.
that are worried about Devontae Smith's injury are the people that thought he was too small to play in the NFL. That's the only reason people are concerned about Devontae Smith's injury. If it was any other receiver, no one would care.
Trust me, a week and a half in, he's going to be able to walk. He's going to be able to move. So yeah. There's that. That's a little insider
OJ Howard had the exact same injury and literally played the next week.
Yeah, it's not hard. I think you should only go for Mahomes if you have Kelsey or Tyreek. I mean, I personally am not touching Mahomes unless he's like a 4th round pick and I have either of those options. I personally can't stomach taking him over all this elite wide receiver talent in particular, like Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, like any of these guys. I just would preference-wise would take Mahomes or would take over Mahomes because again, you got the Dak Prescott.
It's the quarterback comparison that I come down on. It's like Mahomes to me is not Kelsey at his position. He's not that much of an advantage that I can't take him over the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th overall quarterback.
Like if you're getting him the mid 4th, I think that's fine value. But aside from that, I can't stomach it.
Yeah.
I have Barkley, Gibson, Swift, Gaskin, but I've been offered 1.7 for Gaskin or 2 firsts next year. My wide receivers are McLaurin, Claypool, Chenault, and Mooney.
I would take a 1st for Gaskin easily.
But he said 107 this year or 2 firsts next year. I would go with the 2 picks. Personally.
I would go with the 2 first because it looks like your wide receiver core is very young as well. So I wouldn't say you're necessarily, the best team in your league this year looking to compete. I would probably go with the 2 ones.
Yep, I agree there. I can't replace Gaskin production at 107, but do plan on trading him after my buys. Yeah, I personally would go with the 2 ones, but both those deals are very favorable for you, in my opinion. Thanks, guys. Traded Carson and a second for Tua. Trade in Dynasty Superflex. You guys discussed in Dynasty decisions. Feels good. Absolutely. Again, Tua's a young ascending quarterback, and Chris Carson is a top 20 running back for the next 2 years.
Man, he might be a 1-year rental at this point. He signed a 3-year deal, but they have an out after this year. So there's nothing holding them to give this guy a full workload. And as much as we dog on Rashad Penny all the time, what happens if Rashad Penny makes this a committee? This is a guy that legitimately doesn't have a high ceiling, and he doesn't really have that good of a floor either, given his injury history and some of the commitment that we've seen from the Seahawks in the past.
I know, I agree there. Here, let me just pull up Rashad Penny.
I got like 2 hours of sleep last night, so I'm probably just going to stick with some questions for the remainder of this live stream. I probably can't go for another mock draft again, but we got the boy. We got Ron Stewart in the chat. We were on his live stream earlier, just talking some stuff. What's good, fellas? Figured I'd stop by. Yeah, we have to get you on one of these live streams in the future.
I told him, I'm like, hey, bro, Thursday Night Football, we're going to be streaming for that Cowboys Steelers. You may as well just hop on with the lads.
Yeah, for sure. If a starter even sniffs the field in that game, I'll be shocked.
Even if the one doesn't, I'm watching from fucking
Can we just get like Najee Harris like 3 carries just to get everybody excited?
Or freaking
he's got to earn his stripes a little bit. Let's give Najee Harris 3 carries in that game.
What if slim down Zeke gets the first drive and just bust out like a 75-yard rushing touchdown?
What if Benny Snell converts a crucial 3rd and 2?
Oh man, that is the best, bro. Benny Snell, ultimate tone setter. He is the 3rd and 2 master. I like your channel and energy, Ron. Yeah, Ron's the boy.
Yeah.
I'm all in on Hawkinson in the round 5. Yeah.
What the crazy thing is that I get Hawkinson routinely in round 7. So I am all the way in on Hawkinson. I would take him in round 5 as well.
Yep, agreed. Miller had a great article that RB tight end had the best win rate for hero RB builds. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because you got that stud anchor running back, and as much as wide receivers help you a lot in best ball, I mean, the ceilings are phenomenal. Having that true anchor tight end to hold down that position leaves you with the option. You can have the option to draft only 2 tight ends. If you don't end up with that anchor tight end, then you're kind of forced to take 3, which just affects your overall quantity at the wide receiver or running back position. So I do agree. Like I really, from a structural standpoint, enjoy getting that early tight end because it just leaves me like so much less worried for the rest of my drafts.
To me, the only difference that I have in opinion for me and you is the fact that to me, Waller's that guy. Like I just don't see Kittle. I just don't see Kittle in the same tier as Waller. I actually have them a tier apart of each other. I have Kelsey in his own tier, Waller in his own tier, and then Kittle in a tier with Pitts as a 3rd tier tight end. That is the way I see it. It's because I'm very high on Pitts. It's because I think Pitts and Kittle are a lot more similar than people give him credit for. I just don't see Kittle as the same level of target potential as Darren Waller. And I think from an ability standpoint, Kittle's probably slightly better as a talent, but I think they're both phenomenal.
I think it's a little recency bias, but we'll see. We'll see.
But here's the thing though, like how many real targets is Waller competing with for targets than Kittle? He also has a field stretcher in Henry Ruggs to help open up the field for him too.
I mean, Ayuk.
Sure, but nobody Ayuk's a good athlete, but nobody's scared of his deep speed compared to Ruggs.
I mean, I don't know. I can't see putting Kittle I understand having Waller ahead of him, but I just don't understand that.
The way I view Waller is that he's a back of the 2nd round pick. I view Kittle as a mid-3rd. It's not a huge difference, but it is a little difference for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I learned to cut my hair because of COVID. Hey, they're learning skills. My barber has a whole setup in their house. I was just chilling.
Apparently, I have no hookups when it comes to hair because it seems like everybody had a hookup and I did not.
Everybody does. Yeah, definitely. I got a haircut with a barber for the first time since 2019. Jesus Christ, that's
how long was your hair?
Yeah, facts. But it was rocking a full flow, eh?
Yeah.
PPR redraft is it wise to go RB, tight end, RB. Only go tight end and 3rd if Waller or Kittle are there. If not, wait until 7-8 for Hawkinson. I mean, I wouldn't
overall this frame of mind, like trying to plan out your draft like this, is probably not wise overall because you want to be able to evaluate the board as it falls to you. Like if you have a set plan of going RB, tight end, RB, then you're probably going to get yourself stuck into reaching for players. But if you want a 3rd round tight end, if Waller or Kittle there, that's fine. But I would also prepare yourself for situations where you want to go RB in the first 2 rounds, but what happens if Devontae Adams is there for you in the 2nd round? You're going to pass him because you want to go RB? Like, I just personally can't do that.
Is there Kamara at 13 or Waller at 44? Please help. Ooh, that is a tough one. I personally like the value of Waller, but it'd be tough.
I take Kamara at 13.
It's tough passing Kamara, so Yeah, I'd probably go Kamara, but it's so hard to pass on that value of Waller because you're getting him.
What about the value of Kamara?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'd go Kamara. That is a good dilemma though. That's a good place to be.
Good problem to have for sure.
Yeah, definitely. 10 team, 1 quarterback, PPR Dynasty, rookie draft results. How'd I do? 106 got Javonte, 206 Elijah Moore, 306 Amari Rodgers, 402 Nico Collins. I think he slam dunked basically all those selections. The only thing I'd say, like, I personally would have swapped the Collins and Rodgers in all honesty.
Yeah, I probably would have as well.
Aside from that,
but
great job.
Either way, you still get the same 4 players. So yeah, I definitely like what you did there.
Elijah Moore at the 206
in a 1 quarterback league too.
Phenomenal.
206 is the 16th pick overall, but still, that's still great value. And Javonte at the 106 is good value in a 1 quarterback as well.
Agree with that. Also, we just got a super chat. Appreciate that. Friend Noah from back home, Hamilton. Good work ethic. Keep grinding, you damn well. Appreciate that, Noah. Nice to see you're tuning in as well. We're grinding nonstop, baby. This is the month. This is action month where everybody's getting ready for their fantasy draft. So we got to come out with that fire content, you know?
Facts.
But yeah, I appreciate the super
chat. I just saw that part of it.
Where do we leave off there? Cobra Kai. As it happens, when I traded Carson, I kept Penny and DJ Dallas, so I wasn't that confident. Yeah, there you go. Pitts for Godwin and Goddard. 1.5 tight end premium. I can't give up Pitts for that. As much as I love those 2 other players, I can't give up Pitts.
Oh man, that is so close.
It's very close, but I can't give up Pitts.
I'll take Godwin and Goddard slightly, but that is so close, man. Holy shit, that is close.
Yeah, and I'll personally take Pitts. But speaking facts about Waller, yeah, like the target's going to be there for him, so I understand the rationale. I'm heading out. Appreciate everything y'all do. I'll be back for the next live. Appreciate you tuning in, Justin. I think he was here for the full hour and a half. So
yeah, he was.
Love that dedication there. Ron says, I've come around to liking early tight ends this year, but it might be the best ball getting to me.
100% the best ball getting to you.
I
have a feeling too. We're used, because we do so many underdog drafts. We're used to Waller and Kittle being gone by like the early 3rd round. I have a feeling they're going to slide a little bit more in home leagues.
They could, yeah. Appreciate you tuning in, though. Good luck on that video, and let me know the idea behind it, because you got that spice every single video you drop. So respect on that. No, with the super chat, you got spicy hot, setting the tone too, eh?
Yeah.
Peace, stay safe. Salute, J Peach. Oh, he's saying that to Justin. Okay, regardless. You just need to have an idea of who will be available at your pick, but don't specifically plan it out. Yeah, I agree with that.
The best way to do it is to build out your board, right? Build out your board, and whether you do it in your head by doing mock drafts or you do it physically by ranking every player overall. And maybe you trust my rankings, Danny's rankings, your favorite analyst's rankings, and you print those out and you go by those overall. And once you get to, for example, if we look at the draft board that we just did, once you get to the Clyde Edwards-Helaire point of the running back pool, maybe you're not willing to take a running back for the next 2 rounds or so. And then you don't worry about that running back position. You pound wide receivers, quarterbacks, or tight ends. Yeah,
I agree. If you think you're getting Najee late in round 2, you'll be in trouble. Yeah, because the thing is, an underdog, like he's routinely falling to that mid to late 2nd round. But in home leagues, running back thirst is real. And I wouldn't be shocked if we're talking about a guy who's a top 14 pick, maybe even a 1st round pick by the end of the offseason, honestly.
Yeah, last year when I was doing mock drafts, I was picking from the 106, right? And what I wanted to do was take Clyde at 106, right? So I took Clyde at 106, and routinely I was getting guys like Austin Eckler in the 2nd round. And I nearly missed out on every running back last year with my 2nd round pick because they just flew off the board. The only wide receiver that went in the first, if I had the 106 in a 12-team league, the first 18 picks of the draft was Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas was the only wide receiver that went before my pick in the 2nd round.
That's nuts. Grind season finally here. Yes, sir, Bryson. Thoughts on my low-end rookies from my rookie draft? Diami, Chuba, Daz Newsome, and Dokes. Honestly, Diami shouldn't even be grouped with those
He's
guys.
Not a low-end rookie in
He's
my
not
opinion.
low-end.
So I think wherever you got Diami in your draft, I think you got a steal on him if you're calling him a low-end rookie.
Agree with that. Between Javonte, Devontae, and Etienne, which 2 do I keep? I would go with the 2 running backs there.
Yeah, I would as well.
Yep. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Anytime, Ryan. Nice seeing you in the chat. Which 2 do I pick? Yeah, okay, we win with that. Kyler, number 1 quarterback on all fronts. Heard it here first. I mean, I definitely considered
before he had that shoulder injury. He was the number 1 quarterback in fantasy, and he was a guy that was legitimately posting historic numbers in terms of a pace.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the reason why I love all of these quote unquote tier 2 quarterbacks, even though I think they're basically in the tier with Mahomes, because you can make the case for any single one of them finishing quarterback 1 and their floors basically being top 6. So I do agree. Kyler definitely has the opportunity at hand with his rushing, with the weapon, with DeAndre Hopkins in particular, to be able to challenge for that number 1 spot. So I like the prediction. Javonte and Etienne agree with Leo. I got Diami at 207 and a 1 quarterback. That is phenomenal.
He's actually my 207 or 206 maybe in the superflex. So yeah, the fact that you're throwing in a bunch of quarterbacks, and I'm sure in a 1 quarterback league, maybe a few quarterbacks go before that 207 pick, but either way, I think you got a good value on that. We're excited about him long-term for sure. Curtis Samuel's already dealing with some injuries, which definitely lends itself to De'Ami Brown getting some more playing time. He's a guy that I think Ryan Fitzpatrick, and we talked about this when he was drafted, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to really like him because he's a deep threat, right? Like Ryan Fitzpatrick loved Deshaun Jackson in Tampa Bay. He loved, Devontae Parker in Miami. He likes the guys that stretch the field, and I think De'Ami Brown's going to be the primary field stretcher along with McLaurin, obviously, for the football team.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. So we can get through a few more comments, kind of go take a piss. But
yeah. If you guys have any more questions, leave them in. But like I said, I had 2 hours of sleep last night, so we're probably going to hop off here in a few minutes. So if you have any last minute questions, we'll pop them up. But for curiosity's sake, if you guys are wondering what we're going to be doing this week, I'll actually tell you guys what we're going to be doing content-wise this week. We don't usually do this, but figure why not. So tomorrow I'm going to be talking about, what are you doing?
I pressed the wrong button.
So tomorrow we're going to be talking about bounce back candidates in the format of like a fantasy roster. So I'm going to be going solo talking about my favorite bounce back candidates for this year. Either tomorrow we're going to double upload or Wednesday we're going to double upload, but we're also going to talk about the biggest risers and fallers of ADP the last 2 weeks or so of training camp. And then Danny's going to be talking about breaking down the sophomore running backs. He's also going to be ranking those guys too. Have a special announcement in that video. We're not going to give it away yet, but it is a very special announcement. So make sure you guys watch that sophomore running backs video. I know you will because it's a running back video. Everybody will want to see it. But then after that, we're starting our rankings, man. We're starting our redraft rankings, official rankings, final rankings that we'll be doing. We're going to start with the quarterback rankings towards the end of the week. And then we're also going to do ADP values by round each of the next couple Saturdays. And we're going to start with rounds 1 to 5 on this Saturday. And then we'll have Dynasty Decision Sunday.
Yep, absolutely. I'm just reading some of the comments because my screensaver's popped on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I meant to give you a sneak peek at the content for the week, and I accidentally X'd my tab, and everything cleared. So there's that. This is my 4th year in fantasy. I swear, if my first round pick is a bust again, I'll go crazy.
I mean, all those guys were either due to injury or contract situations, though. So, I mean, maybe you want to go a little bit more risk averse in the first round, but I would have told you last year that Christian McCaffrey was as risky averse as it comes last year. So, I mean, sometimes you just get screwed, unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah, multiple leagues. He said, this is my first year getting in multiple leagues. So excited. Yeah, multiple leagues helps, especially if you have an injury-riddled league in one of them. You're going to get screwed if you're only in one league.
Yeah, been all the comments.
Yeah,
the cigar, big chillin', tough pick.
There's absolutely no chance Danny put that on by accident. That was on purpose.
I definitely, honest to God. By the way, this was me when I was like 17, 18, and I was in Punta Cana or whatever, fucking having a cigar, a nice little drink. So we're big chillin', big Tony Soprano. There you go.
All right, we're going to head out of here, boys. So, we'll see you guys tomorrow for some bounce back candidates.
Get ready, y'all. Peace out.
Peace out.